Hello, this is Vexx, and welcome back to Tyranny. If you may recall, in our last video, we made our way to the Bastard City and the Court of Tunon to, check in. On our way here, we actually ran into a new companion, a beast woman by the name of Kills and Shadow. I don't have her in our party right now, but we have her anyway. Well, speaking with Tunon, who is this shadowy gentleman up here, we asked him about helping out Barrick, and he said no. Lucky Barrick. But Barrick wants to talk right now, so let's speak with him. Only the slightest nod of Barrick's domed helm offers any indication that the soldier noticed your approach. Okay, got a couple of choices. Are you okay in there, Barrick? Or didn't turn out like you hoped, did it? Finally, it shouldn't surprise you that Archon Tunon would not unmake what was wrought by the Overlord's wrath. I think that third one's going to definitely anger him. I'm going to ask if he's okay. The Archon's decision changes nothing. I've persevered to this point. I shall continue to do so, for the sake of General Ash and the North. Now you'll notice the first option is, redded. Normally that would be grayed out. It's because we don't have the soldier background, but we still have three choices. We can go with that. Sounded very convincing. I'm guessing that's a sarcasm tone, or there may be another way. Finally, we tried. I'm kind of curious what this other way our character has in mind. Your master was very specific in his sentence. He forbade not only assistance from the Forgebound, but from anyone, anywhere in the world. Oh, these are some interesting choices, at least the first one. Which is, no, the Archon forbade any subject of Kairos to aid you. Ooh, that's an interesting one. We could also go with perhaps some other way to free you will present itself. Or finally, if your honor demands you remain in that armor, in that armor you will remain. I don't like that third option. I'm going to go with the first option. It's a little devious, but, we haven't exactly been the most loyal subject so far. You split hairs, Binder. The whole of the world bends the knee to the Overlord. Well, technically that's almost true. Got a few choices we can say, of course. If that were the case, we wouldn't be in the tiers, would we? Or, it looks like the other two are the exact same as before. Well, I'm going to go with the first option again, because it's, the only one that's different. Oh, we gained fear for that one. What's our fear with Barrick anyway? Oh, we're tier 4. Well, we did betray his Lord Master. You're not suggesting we seek some renegade maid... I can't speak. You're not suggesting we ask some renegade mage for aid. You discard the spirit of the law in favor to its letter? Okay. Oh, I understand what he's saying. He's saying we'll split the law because we'll split hairs with the law, to go back to his other point, because the Archon said no one in Kairos' lands can do it, or anyone that serves him, but we're not going with someone who serves Kairos, so there's an out. Now we can say, trust me, Barrick, it's the letter of the law that matters. Or, again, the same two options. It really wants us to choose one of those two options, it seems. But I'm going to talk Barrick into trusting us. We gain more fear with him. We're inching ever closer to Fear 5. Not to me. The honor of a deed lies in as much its spirit as its action. Oh, you sweet, sad little boy. Okay, we are left with the only two options we had before. Well, I'm going to say perhaps there's some other way to free yourself. You will present itself, because I kind of want to help Barrick, even because that armor, it looks absolutely ugly. Oh, we gain loyalty for that one. Cool. Your optimism does you credit, Fatebinder, though I fear it is misplaced. I've got a few choices. Regardless, the first choice, I should say, is regardless, we should speak with the Forgebound, if only to know what our options are. We can lie to him. I solemnly swear to you that I will not speak to the Forgebound about your armor. Happy? Well, I don't want to lie to him. We can use our Conquests option, which is I oversaw Lethian's crossing during the war. The Forgebound there know me. Finally, we can use our lore to go. The Forgebound will be curious about you regardless. The articulation on your armor is incredible. At the very least, we should let them take a look at you. Well, that's true, and just looking at him is not breaking the law. Getting lore experience for that one. My armor is unique. Perhaps it can teach them something that will aid the disfavored. We can find the Forgebound in their smithy in Lethian's crossing. He nods. Let us leave, Fatebinder. I worry that my presence offends these nobles' precious sensibilities. He bows his head to you and moves away, trailing behind him the wafting reek of a fetid privy. Ooh, I think that basically means he stinks like a dirty outhouse. Ugh, lovely. Now that updates the quest to try and help him. If we would have said, well, if you want to stay in there, you can stay in there, that would have just made us fail the quest. Oh yeah, that's what that is. Alright, at this point, I think we will start with talking to these Fatebinders. Yes, this might be a bit of an info dump episode. This is Fatebinder Regulus, or Rogulus. Fatebinder, you return. Rogulus, I'm going to call him Rogulus for now. looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I am feeling generous. Oh, we can go all sorts about everything. We can ask him about the Archon's past. Let's go with that one. Murmurs of the Mire, the Archon of Fungus, produced most of the flora in the swampland of Nidalbog, a stooped hermit who rather resembled a Daperling. He was never once reported to have left his swamp. Some believe he still lives within the land, though there's been no sighting of him in nearly 300 years. Oh, that's gross. Okay, where did you study when you were younger? I guess this guy is pretty old. I've been a ward of the court for as long as I've been aware. As a child, I demonstrated wholly perfect recall, and I absorbed all that Tunon and my tutors had to offer. I remember hating all the lectures and wishing I could learn at my pace. Funny how I envied the sages of the Tiers, how they could spend their whole lives reading and never exhaust their library. Of course, now the Velium Citadel is nothing more than a burning waste. Yeah. What do you know about the other Fatebinders? You'll need to be more specific than that, I'm afraid. There is, on last count, slightly more than a handful of us. Oh, there's not many of us. Ooh, who's this Fatebinder of War? Nervoya's none ovals, keen, brash, and a hardy braggart with a fondness for bloodshed. He can be utterly unbearable at times. His justice is fair, even if he skews toward rather exacting and uncompromising punishments at times. What about the Fatebinder of Balance? Kylo is the finest among us. Her discernment is beyond reproach, and she is perhaps Tunon's favorite. She has a mind for suspicion and observation that makes others uneasy. We can operate within the confines of the law. Oh, we who oppose, ugh, we who operate within the confines of the law have nothing to fear, of course. Oh, let's see what his opinion of us is. You take liberties with the freedom Tunon offers us. In spite of that, your objectivity is beyond question. You would, I think, execute plaintiff and defendant if neither was worthy in your eyes. So he's basically saying that we take the law into our own hands. Not untrue. Okay, what about... Oh, what does he know about the old walls and the Bane who inhabit them? What should I start with? What about the old walls? We know little enough about the ancient structures, save that they predate all historical record. The forbidding ruins crisscross the tiers and north alike centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. And I don't think she is willing to tell us anything. What about the Bane? The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against one, but grab the attention of others lurking near. Sounds like they're weak to the magic, but they also are drawn to it. What about the tiers themselves? The political entities of the tiers are essentially split between the Bastard tier, the Younger Realms, and the Free City. Which do you want to know about? What about the Bastard tier? This one! The Bastard tier is the most northern of the tiers, and was the first to bow to Kairos' reign. Though the knee they bent fell unwillingly, Kairos had, now it's his eye on the Bastard tier for many years before he marched on her capital city. If you remember, no one seems to know whether Kairos is male or female. Tunon seemed to call Tunon a girl, but Regulus here seems to call her Kairos a him. Well, guess we'll never know. This is the hub of trade and commerce. Claim the markets and the people will follow. Not untrue. What about the Younger Realms? The Younger Realms sprawl the middle and southernmost tiers and can be catalogued as follows: Apex, Azure, Haven, and Stalwart. Azure was renowned for its exceptionally fertile lands, which fed the whole of the tiers. That was before Kairos' Edict of Stone blighted the land. Oh, that's not good. Stalwart is also worth mentioning, for it comprises the whole of the southernmost tier, and proves the toughest and most defensible of the realms. It is often said that the other realms will not fall while Stalwart yet stands. The local army wages bitter war against the disfavored, though the Edict of Storm has cut off the best of their defenses. It is only a matter of time before Stalwart falls. What about the free cities? There are 3 free cities remaining: Last Harbor, Spiral's Maw, and Bears and Chains. Oh, that's a lovely name. The first and strongest of the free cities was the Setting Sun, which Kairos crushed in 429 with the Edict of Tumult. After that, the remaining free cities were quick to surrender. Oh. Well, they're not going to be an issue. What about the sages? I will not speak of the sages. They are no better than charlatans and cons. Wholly selfish in their ill pursuit to hoard all knowledge from others. They are self-blinded by their own deceptions and clever manipulations. They alone can cause their own undoing and are solely to blame for the burning library. One of the most grievous wrongs in the known histories for which they can never be forgiven. Basically, they can't be forgiven because That all that knowledge is now lost to the world. Well, let's speak with Fatebinder Kylo now. Wasn't that the very suspicious one? Greetings. Your exploits at Vedrian's Well are the topic of much discussion. One begins to question the intent behind your methods, Vexx. I hope you are not wandering a path from which you cannot return. In spite of my reservations, I am most curious to hear of your travels. What can I do for you? Kylo touches a gentle hand to your shoulder. Has anything happened while I was away? There's been whispers that Karn grew disloyal to Grave Nash's command during the campaign of Zur. I took up the mantle of investigation near Plainsgate, and judging the rumors to be true, dispatched Cairn to proclaim the Kairos' Edict of Stone. The very earth turned against the traitorous Archon as the region split asunder in righteous judgment. So he did the Edict of Stone. Interesting. You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me, Kylo? Don't act so surprised. It is my duty to ensure that those who operate under the Adjudicator's name adhere to the spirit of the law, if not the very letter. Now I've got a couple choices. And those who don't? Or, of course, I've nothing to hide. Or we could say bye or back to our original questions. I'm going to go with, of course, I've nothing to hide. So you say. But I have to weigh all evidence presented before me with an objective eye. Assume you're being watched, Fatebinder. But don't concern yourself. There's no more than any citizen of the Empire can expect. That's no more. So every citizen of the Empire is watched. Big Brother is watching. Okay, let's ask her how she's occupied herself in the Bastard City. Tunon sends me on assignments here and there. I settle disputes between the locals when the adjudicator is otherwise occupied. She smirks. Everything from trade disagreements to pushing chorus squatters out of basements. Real rewarding work. Oh, sarcasm is thick there. She waves it off. The glory of war is not an honor reserved for the likes of us. We're the fish swimming in Tunon's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We're rather large and imposing compared to the bottom feeders of the tiers, but fish all the same. Let's see what she knows about Tunon, or what she's willing to tell us. Tunon is our overlord's fair and exacting adjudicator. He speaks with the voice of Kairos' law, and his word is judgment. All of this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Go on, or does he intimidate you still? She chuckles softly. I jest, of course. I have some concerns about the war, Kylo. You are free to share them in my confidence. She leans in closer. I got a bunch of choices to say here. Or though we might be able to go with all of them, I'm not sure yet. We can say, we cannot crush this opposition with such weak efforts. We are too lenient. I'm not quite sure. Bloodshed and brutality reign supreme. Peace cannot follow such cruelty. The exact opposite of what the first option was. Third option. Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided, we cannot win. Well, I definitely agree with that one. Or we can just go back to our previous discussions. I'm going to go with the fact that divided, we can't win. I'm less concerned about the armies than the Archons themselves. There can be no order when mountains collide. True. Very true. Who would you see as champion? We got a couple choices here. We can go with the disfavored. Our elite troops will bring us victory. We can go with the Scarlet Chorus, Their ruthlessness will win us this war. Finally, we can go with neither. They're both at fault and equally inept. I gotta go with that one. Her mood darkens. And then who would lead our advances? Or be left to deliver Kairos' peace? Would you wear this responsibility as a crown upon your head? You may find it a heavy burden to bear. Oh, now we can handle it. Or you misunderstand my intent. Oh, do we want to tip our hand that we want to rule? Or just you misunderstand? Well, we may be showing signs of rebellion, but maybe we're not quite wanting to rule, but we just saying that both of them are inept. Maybe Tunon here should lead. I'm going to go with you misunderstand my intent. The Fatebinder studies you with a knowing eye. Do I? Oh, she does not believe that at all. Well, that's all for her. And finally, Fatebinder Nunaville. I will not pretend to understand the strategic decisions you have made, but they are yours all the same. The Fatebinder of War claps you with an excessive strength on the back, a greeting and a warning both. Even so, I am curious about your travels in the tiers. Come, let us speak freely. How were you singled out to become a Fatebinder, Nunaville? I cannot speak for the other Fatebinders, but I joined the court when I was yet still a boy, and impetuous beyond reason. I had been imprisoned with a death sentence for the crime of desecrating corpses. Ew, I don't want to know. He laughs hard and hearty. It was nothing so exciting as you're no doubt imagining. I was merely burning corpses that awaited burial. Before the local authority could see me to the gallows, the agitator claimed me a great talent, waiting to be realized, needing only to be steered. Let's ask him why he was burning the bodies. Corpses piling in the streets spread plague faster than the filthiest of rats. I was but 10 and a weak fighter. I did what I could for my homeland. Oh, that's really smart, actually. And true. I mean, a rotting corpse can spread disease. That's why a lot of times in the medieval days they would send bodies or dead cows flying over walls. It's sometimes a quicker way of breaking the siege. Let's ask him why was it a crime. There was a time when even the northern men were a suspicious stock. Time before Kairos brought reason to the realms. The people of my city believed that, without proper rites, I was cheating our fallen warriors from returning to the land. As zombies? I gotta agree with this statement here. It's a good thing that Tunon spared you. Oh, we gained favor for that. As I've said, the agitator saw within me something of rare value, as is true for us all. You as well were chosen for our great court, for which I am grateful. As the Fatebinder of War, I rely heavily on your talents. Back to my earlier questions. I'm curious about Tunon's masks. They can be rather unsettling, can't they? Even to one such as me, but I can assure you, the innocent need not fear the objective, emotionless gaze. Well, which of the Archon's masks specifically would you like to know? Let's go with the Silent Face. Silent Face is the face that Tunon shows to us now, and for that we are fortunate beyond belief. Silent Face is a patient face, a face for listening as Tunon presides over all matters brought to the court, taking great pains to ensure all sides of an issue are heard. What about the face of Resolve? Tunon's last known dawning of the face of Resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the districts in the bastard city. Ooh. Since then, he has ruled our northern tier justly, calmly, and with efficient diplomacy. Oh, what about the face that is no more? Tunon is said to have worn a third mask in aeons past. I've heard rumor that this face displeased Kairos and was thus destroyed, as happens to all persons and objects that displease our overlord. Yeah, he does not seem like a discerning, or well, go against him at your own will. Have you ever seen Tunon change his masks, Nunaville? In the way you or I would change our raiment? No, not as such. And yet I've seen the masks shift. They switch without the educator or anyone so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can watch unfold. After a time, you merely realize it has already happened. There is work enough for the court that we shouldn't occupy ourselves worrying over mysteries. Oh, that is odd. Can you remind me of the history and origin of the Fatebinders? The seasoned warrior rubs a finger against the line of stubble along his cheek. We are a relatively young order, though we span through these past 2 centuries while the voices in Arat and Graven Ash needed armies to execute their will. Tunon wields but a modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of his law. There is no place in Terratus beyond our judgment. Tell me more of Kairos' armies, our allies. Ah, yes, with friends like those, our work is often self-explanatory. Were you asking me about the Scarlet Chorus or this favored? Tell me about the chorus. Scarlet Chorus soldiers hail from every corner of the realm. As the chorus marches, it conscripts indiscriminately from those it conquers to replenish its ranks. There's no continuity of command in the chorus. Narat allows, encourages even, the strong to challenge their leaders. But the chorus has numbers, and brute force is almost always a viable solution, much as Regulus insists otherwise. Besides, the Scarlet Chorus draws strength from the multitudes it allows. Its blood chanters have taken knowledge from various tiers mystics, and many of the chorus's best soldiers were grown here in the south. What about the disfavored? The disfavored are the iron tip of Kairos' great phalanx, armed with the best weapons, the most comprehensive training, and led by the brilliant Graven Ash. The disfavored have no equals in open battle. The Legion has a saying, Graven Ash protects, and it's no empty boast. The Archon of War is able to lend his will and strength to his soldiers, give them endurance beyond human limits. I have a great respect for the disfavored, but I know where I stand with them. They are a very close-knit band, all of them from northern families, many of them related to each other. Nunaville sighs, his smile wistful. But considering our role in the great hierarchy, I can't fault Graven Ash for being selective. Well, that is actually all we can... Oh, no it isn't. I thought that was all. We can actually flat out say, I've claimed the Spirit Veterans well. Oh, we gained favor with Tunon for that, too. So, the court's whispers are true. The Fatebinder rubs his fingers along the underside of his chin, pondering his thoughts with great weight. After a moment, he offers you a wistful sort of smile. Someday, I would like to witness for myself the tower that has risen above the realms like a blade thrust into the sky. Well, he seems pleased with us as well. I would hear of your past victories in the war, or of recent events. Have you not tired of my tales, Vexx? I do admit I never tire of telling them, he laughs heartily and deeply. Very well, let me champion the feats of my conquest. Let the glory of Kairos' reign fall on any ears that would hear them. Oh, he seems boastful. Certainly the highest honor bestowed upon me was the right of proclamation. When Kairos decided to punish the disfavored for their refusal to sally forth and finish off the unbroken of stalwart, I was chosen to read the Edict of Storms. Those killing winds of dust, grit, and sword will rage across fallen stalwart until the ruling regents are broken. They call the realm the Blade Grave these days. If you ever visit, you'll no doubt realize why. None of all lets out a chuckle. Evidently, one or more of the regents persists in living. And now, that is actually all he has to say there. What's interesting is two of these Fatebinders were able to read a edict just like us during the conquest. And we actually got to read another one just recently. What's interesting, if you may recall, in the last year of our conquest, we had 3 choices of where to go. Funnily enough, the 2 other choices that we did not choose would have let us read either the Edict of Earth, was it? Or the Edict of the Tempest. So either way, we would have read an edict prior to going to Vedran's Well. So we are pretty damn special that way. Alright, now I could explore the rest of the bastard tier, maybe talk with the disfavored, or even over here with the chorus. Plus, there was that other person over here somewhere that seemed like they wanted to talk. I'm not certain, but I will do that in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's a bit of an info dump, but gotta do those, build the lore and all. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day.